At 61, Wendy Williams opens up about her decades-long career and her complicated history with one of the most iconic figures in music, Whitney Houston. Known for her sharp tongue and fearless approach to celebrity interviews, Wendy has always been unafraid to ask the questions others avoided, and Whitney was no exception. Back in the 1990s and early 2000s, Whitney Houston's life was under constant scrutiny. A mixture of extraordinary success, public adoration, and deeply personal struggles that included turbulent relationships and well-documented battles with addiction. Wendy, as a rising radio and TV personality, often confronted Whitney with questions that peeled back the layers of her public persona, challenging the narrative that painted Whitney as untouchable and flawless. At the time, audiences were polarized. Some criticized Wendy for being intrusive, while others praised her for bringing honesty and accountability to conversations about celebrities. Now, decades later, Wendy reflects on these moments with a new perspective, explaining that her intent was never to exploit Whitney's hardships but to illuminate the human reality behind the superstar image. She recalls that in their interactions, Whitney was graceful, poised, and sometimes guarded, yet the tension of live interviews revealed glimpses of the pressure she carried as an international icon. Wendy admits that she could be confrontational, sometimes crossing lines that only time and reflection would clarify, but she insists that the questions she asked were motivated by curiosity and a desire to explore the truth of Whitney's life, not sensationalism. Revisiting these interviews is an emotional exercise for Wendy. It requires acknowledging Whitney not only as a friend and fellow public figure but also as a woman whose life story was filled with triumph, pain, and resilience. She emphasizes that Whitney's struggles were not mere gossip fodder, they were real human challenges magnified by fame, media attention, and personal circumstances. Wendy also takes this opportunity to reflect on her own growth as a media personality, recognizing the responsibility that comes with having a platform and understanding the lasting impact her words can have on both public perception and personal legacies. By revisiting these moments, Wendy aims to balance admiration for Whitney's extraordinary talent with acknowledgement of her personal vulnerabilities. She highlights that fame often comes with a price: the constant expectation of perfection, invasive media scrutiny, and the challenge of maintaining privacy in a world that thrives on exposure. Whitney navigated these pressures with a combination of grace and struggle, and Wendy seeks to capture this complexity in her reflections. In her current interviews and discussions, Wendy underscores the ethical tension in celebrity journalism, illustrating that while audiences crave raw truths, the people behind the headlines are real human beings with complex inner lives. Her retrospective commentary provides fans and observers with a nuanced understanding of Whitney Houston, a singer whose voice defined generations and whose personal struggles reflected the intense pressures of living in the public eye. Wendy also acknowledges that revisiting the past is not only about Whitney but about understanding her own journey, including the lessons learned, mistakes made, and the evolution of her career. She stresses that time provides clarity and context, enabling her to see past controversies with empathy and to honor Whitney's legacy with honesty. Through these reflections, Wendy hopes to give audiences a deeper appreciation for the challenges Whitney faced, the courage she exhibited, and the reality of her life beyond the stage and spotlight. This candid account serves as both a tribute and a reckoning, showing that celebrity, fame, and personal struggles are intertwined in ways that are often misunderstood by the public. Ultimately, Wendy Williams' revelations at 61 are a reminder that truth is multifaceted, empathy is essential, and the stories behind legendary figures like Whitney Houston deserve to be told with both honesty and humanity, capturing the triumphs, challenges, and the enduring influence of one of music's greatest voices.